Awesome. So welcome to Move Better, Feel Better, Perform Better. Who's excited? Everybody? Right on. So basically why I named it that is because when you move better, you're going to feel better. When you feel better, you're going to perform better, right? Just makes sense. When pain goes down, we can start doing things that we used to be able to do before that we never thought that we could do before, okay? And then a lot of that has to do with nervous system, okay? So what does the nervous system have to do with all this, right? So the nervous system is basically there for one thing only. That's survival, right? It's your fight or flight, it's your parasympathetic nervous system, all of that, right? And has anybody heard of a thing called neural drive, right? So basically neural drive is your brain's ability to communicate with your muscles, right? And your muscles to be able to communicate with your brain, and your joints to be able to communicate with your brain. And when you turn your joints up kind of in your nervous system, basically taking them through the full range of motions and things like that, it can then communicate better, right? So it's like if I do some stuff with my ankle and really open up my ankle joints, right? There's a lot of different nerve endings that come in there that communicate, right? And if some of that communication is shut down, the drive up the foot, right, to the calf muscles, to the hamstrings, to the glutes, to the low back, isn't going to be as efficient as it could before, right? So when I turn those things up, all of a sudden when I step, the right muscles are going to fire in the right order, in the right sequence. And then once that happens, strength increases and goes up, right? So I'll show you a little bit of it. Who wants to be a demonstration bunny real quick?
She had a lot of classes.
Oh yeah, I think she ought to do it.
All right. Nope, the on's fine. Okay, so right now we're just going to do a real quick strength test for your shoulder, okay? So I'm going to push down. Keep me from pushing your arm down. That's nice and strong, right? So all I'm going to do is mess with her joint a little bit. Kind of jam her joint up a little bit, where all those little nerve endings are. Then I'm going to come up, I'm going to push down again. A lot less effort, goes right down. Okay, then I'm going to take the thumb, bring it across, open it up. And all I'm doing is moving that joint in a full range of motion, getting those nerves to communicate more effectively again. Okay, and then back up again, and then keep me from pushing down again. And I can almost put all my weight on it, and it's still strong, right? So what happened? I just shut down the nervous system, right? Because the joints were jammed, right? And it doesn't have to hurt, right? It didn't hurt when I did it, right? Just when you happen to have a joint that cannot see itself in its entire range of motion, it's going to limit your output, right? It's going to limit that neural drive, all right? So tests for yourself, assessments for yourself. So you can assess in several different ways. You can assess strength, you can assess flexibility, or you can assess rotation. You can assess balance. There's all kinds of different ways to assess, and I'm going to take you through a few. You pick the one that you want to do the best for you. Okay, so what everybody's going to do, you're going to bring your feet, lock them to the rear, knees to the rear, and you're just going to bend forward as far as you can and see wherever you're limited at, and then come back up. As well, I want you to notice how hard it was for you to get down there. You know, so some people will do a drill and they'll be like, oh, and they'll get down, how's that? Great, right? Yeah. And then I'll do a drill and then they'll go right down, but it'll be the same spot, but it'll be even easier. They'll be like, how was that? Oh, you made the same length. I'm like, yeah, you made the same length, but there was a lot less pain in your face. There was a lot less pain in your body, all right? So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to start off with a shin box drill. And what I do with this is I give it to every single one of my clients because it really opens up the hip, open up the thoracic spine, right? And when joints that are mobile, that need to be mobile, it's going to help the joints that are stable stay to be stable, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to come on our side, and you guys are going to kind of mimic me. So you guys can go ahead and spread around the floor a little bit. We're going to come on our side like this, kind of like in a sleepy position, right? We're going to try to keep our knees down. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to really open up our hand and try to touch it to the floor behind us. And then we're going to bring it back and together. We're going to do about 5 repetitions there. 3, 4, 5. Good, then we're going to go to the other side, and we're going to hit another 5. And if you get to a place that's stuck, breathe out, use your breath. Because if you keep air inside, it's going to restrict you a little bit. Okay, once you got 5 there, we're going to come back to center. Arms still out into a T. You're going to keep your shoulders down. What you're going to do is you're going to rotate your knees to one side and then to the other side. And the biggest key is leaving the shoulder blades down so that way you get that contralateral stretch through the obliques, and you can feel it all the way up the shoulder if you really tighten your shoulders. How we doing?
I get dizzy when I lie straight down.
Oh, you do? Okay. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is we're going to take our left foot, or left ankle, and put it on our right knee. And then we're going to let that knee fall inwards and then back to center. You're going to do 5 there, keeping those arms again straight down. And you're really going to take that top foot and try to pull that knee to the ground as far as comfortable. Now, another thing to really pay attention to, if there's any pain, don't go into pain. So if you can only go to here before pain kicks in, that's fine, then come back up. If you can only do a small range of motion before pain kicks in, that's fine, go back up. Don't go into that pain. Then you're going to take your foot and you're going to move it out just about 6 inches. And then you're going to repeat 5 internal rotations. And then we're going to do it again one more time, taking that foot out another 6 inches. So that way my hip and knee are in a line at the end. And hit 5 there. And then once you're ready, we're just going to switch sides and repeat the same motions. So we're going to do 5 with the foot straight underneath us. Move out 6 inches, another 5. And then move out another 6 inches for another 5. Okay. Make sure everybody's done. Okay, then we're going to take our feet, bring them just a little bit wider in hip width. Arms again out into a T, and you let your knees fall to one side. And let them fall to the other side. So you're just going to window wipe 5 each way. Good, then we're just going to roll to our side, push yourselves up, and come on up slowly, especially if you have any dizziness or anything like that. You're locking your knees to the rear, then you're going to come down, you're going to test again, see how much further you go. How many people got a good result out of that? Good there, good there, good there. Awesome. Okay, next we're going to go to the feet, okay? So, we can also do other rotations too, because you're pretty far down there, right? There's not much further forward you could go. So another way you could go is you could come feet together, and you're going to make a gun out front, kind of like James Bond. You can kind of feel cool for a second, right? And you rotate as far one side and as far to the other side. Do it 3 or 4 times so that way you know you're fully warmed up, and that's all the range of motion you got. So bring your feet together. There you go. There you go. And really mark on the wall where you're at. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is a lateral ankle tilt. Okay, and we're going to really target right underneath this lateral malleolus or this big bump on the side, and go just drop a little bit below that, and you'll feel a little divot here. Okay, and what we're trying to do is really open that joint up. So we're going to stand nice and tall. So it's important to have a nice, good, tall posture and kind of fix your gaze straight ahead, and then you're just going to tilt to the side and then together. And then do 5 right there. Really feel that joint open, and fully close. Good. If you need to, you can take your sandals off as well if you can't get the joint to open up with the sandals on. Okay, then we're going to bring our feet together, again, straight out, and then you're going to test one side, test the other side, see how much further you go. Woo, that's fun, right? Better? Better assessment? On one side? Better on one side? Good. Now, some of these drills that we do, you might get also a limitation, right? That's because it's sending too much threat to your body, right? So if I'm doing one of these drills and all of a sudden I go to do an assessment and all of a sudden, oh, I can't move that way very well, right? That's also an issue. It's got to be addressed, right? Because you should be able to move in all these directions without having a limit in your body, okay? So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll sandwich a drill between 2 drills. So I'll have one good drill, one bad drill. So I'll do the good drill, the bad drill, then the good drill, right? And then over time, that bad drill eventually becomes and brings you open. And all of a sudden over time you're going, wow, I feel a lot more athletic, or I feel like I'm walking more stable, right? Like you said, that right side's always, giving you issues, or you're getting always ankle sprains. I did these with a college baseball player a few months ago because he was saying he was having really problems stabilizing with his ankle while he was running. And I just gave him these and then also the toe pulls I'm going to show you here next. And I ran into him again, a few months later. I said, how's your ankles? He goes, I can't believe how good they feel when I'm running. I feel so much more stable, right? And that's awesome because when you actually have a good solid foundation, then you can start, doing your athletic things, training, right? And it's not like trying to fire a cannon out of a canoe. You're firing a cannon out of a solid foundation, right? So once we get a solid foundation, we can start strengthening that, right? So the next one we're going to do is we're going to do a toe pull, and we're going to target right outside here. This is called your cuboid muscle, or your cuboid joint. So you'll come right forward, and then there's going to be 2 little tendons you're going to feel right in the middle. There's a joint. We're going to the one just to the side of that, on the outside. Okay. And what we're probably going to need is have you guys grab onto something at first. So I'll demonstrate, then you guys can, go to a wall or whatever and do these yourselves. So the first one, you're going to come straight out, and then you're going to let your heel drop to the side, and then you're going to pull at a 45-degree angle for about 5 repetitions, okay? And then the same thing on the other side. Everybody doing all right with that? Foot cramps a little bit? Okay, if it cramps, what we got to get is a bolster. I don't have one here. Be right back. I got to go grab a bolster for some people. All right. So if it cramps, yeah, still going to need a bolster because it's stretching too much too quick for you. So go ahead and face that way. And
I got one of these.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And I'll put this down.
All right.
So go ahead and face that way. Give me your left ankle. Good. Now what you're going to do is you're going to put up here. Let that ankle drop. And then right here. Open and close. That better?
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Yeah, a lot better, right?
Doesn't cramp.
Yeah, the more you do it this and the more you get that range of motion,
Yeah.
the less protected it's going to feel. And you're going to be able to do it more and more and more. And then you'll be able to get down to the ground. Okay.
You could do that with a stack of books at home, too.
Yeah, and anything that's going to raise that up a little bit so you can really focus in on that joint. All right, everybody get one on each side. Okay, bring the feet together. You can do your forward bend or you can do your rotation and see if you feel any better. How'd we do? Better? Good. Better? Good. Oh, yeah?
So that didn't happen the first 2 times, but it happened that time.
But that won't happen on your left hamstring? Awesome. Okay. So just know that. Feel where that's at. That might be something you need to work on over and over and over again for that to get the fire right. All right. So next, we're going to go right in the middle and get this middle joint right here. Okay, called the cuneiform. And what you're going to do is you're going to bring the foot straight back, and then you're going to pull straight forward and open up the top of that ankle joint. You do 5 openers on each side. That one's really tight. Want to use a bolster? Okay, come on over. Go ahead and grab that. Good, give me that left foot, and then we'll open and close. 2, 3. Good. How's that, better?
That felt much better.
Good. Okay, go ahead and test and see how that feels. Whoa. Estelle, you almost pulled a Linda Blair on me. All the way around, spitting pea soup and everything. It's awesome. How'd everybody else feel? Good? These ones were awesome for me when I was getting out of the military back in 2011. When I was getting out of the military, I had a huge back injury. I had rotary scoliosis, bulging discs, L4, L5 completely fused together. So when I was coming in to see my buddy Grove, who taught me a lot of this stuff, he said, do a forward bend test real quick. I'm like, are you nuts? Can't even bend 2 inches, right? So I did. I was like, oh, right about there. And all of a sudden, he just had me do ankle tilts and a lot of these toe pulls, and I was touching the ground with no pain whatsoever. And I was like, well, why is that? He said, well, think about it, right? Over in Iraq, back home, you're always in a boot, right? So your ankle cannot see itself in its entirety, right? So all of a sudden, all that threat signals go up to your brain, right? Saying something's going wrong, I can't tell what's going on, I'm going to limit muscle drive, limit neural drive in your glutes, and your hamstrings, and your low back. Next thing you know, bam, you get an injury because things weren't moving better, right? So things weren't moving better, I wasn't feeling better, so therefore I wasn't going to perform better. That's one of the things that got me to go, there's something to this stuff. This is actual neuroscience. This isn't just parlor tricks, right? That some people might try to say that's like, oh yeah, that stuff really doesn't work. It works one time. It's like, yeah, because you did it one time, right? It's like doing like bicep curls. It's like, I want to get big biceps, but I'm only going to do 1 curl a week. Is that going to get you big biceps? No, yeah, huge biceps. Ha! But if you do it over and over, repetition, all of a sudden your body starts really functioning and firing better, right? And this is also a method that I used when I went back to Life Quest, which is a place that I went to learn all this stuff. Started helping other veterans do the same thing, right? Getting them moving better, getting them feeling better, and getting them performing better, okay? And then some of them got to return to duty, right? Which they were trying to do. That wasn't, we weren't trying to take away benefits or anything, but if they wanted to go back, we got them, feeling good enough to where they could go back. They were cutting their medications in half, and they were, functioning better. All right, so the next one we're going to do is we're going to do the navicular. Okay, so this one's a little bit harder. There's going to be probably a lot more foot cramps doing this one than before. So if you have that issue with the foot cramping up, I'm going to bring the bolster to you, and then we can open up that ankle a little bit. Okay, so let me demonstrate how to do it real quick. So I'm going to bring the foot back, kind of like how we're going to do the forward toe pull. Then I'm going to camp my ankle inside to a 45-degree angle, and I'm going to open up the inside of that ankle joint for 5 on each side, okay? All right, so Estelle, come on over here. So what we want you to get is on top of the toe.
So on this
Yeah,
side?
yeah, so on top of it. So crank that in and then kind of pull in this direction. Feel that open and close right there, that little joint?
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Is it because I'm short?
Right? No, it's just because of your foot mobility, right? All of a sudden, you know, when you first start doing this stuff, it's going to cramp a lot, right? Because you're not used to going into that range.
Okay.
And then the more you get used to going in that range, the more it goes, oh, I'm okay here. That's why I use this for a lot of people that roll their ankles a lot, especially the ankle tilts for my athletes. Works tremendously well. Because what happens with the rolled ankle? They go this way really fast, they put all their weight on it, and bam, they go, man, my ankle, I just rolled really bad. But if you get used to doing this stuff all the time, and you start doing it quicker, more loaded, then you can start walking on them, right, like that. All of a sudden when it goes like that, you just go, oh, whoa, you know, I'm good. It didn't hurt, right? I just kind of stumbled a little bit. So that's one thing that I really do with a lot of my athletes that have, you know, problems with their ankles, like rolling their ankles and things like that. And they go, man, I feel so much better, so much more solid. You know, or they'd be like, I stepped on a base like this and it was no big deal. I just slid off of it, right? Because it's used to going there. So when your body isn't used to going to places, what's it do? What's the nervous system do? It tightens up, right? And when it tightens up really fast, that's when muscle tears happen. But if we get things moving, you know, in proper motions, in proper ways, full ranges of motion, all of a sudden it goes, oh, I'm cool here, right? I don't got to tighten. Or if I'm back here, my foot don't need to cramp. I've been there before, right? Okay, so the next one. This one seems really easy. As everybody says, all this stuff seems really easy, but it's really hard, right? So this one is called the ankle circle. And what we're going to do is we're going to do an ankle circle, but the key is not to let the toes do the driving, okay? The key is to let the ankles do the driving. So what you're going to do is you're going to stand tall, and what you're going to do is you're just going to move that ankle in a full range of motion without letting my toes drive up and fan out, right? So my toes are nice and relaxed. So we're going to do 5 one way, and then 5 the other way. And then the same thing on the other side. 5 one way. 5 the other way. Good. Go ahead and test that out. Who got a good result out of that? Good, good, good. Awesome. Next, we're going to go on the inside of the ankle joint. I know there's a lot of joints in the feet to hit, right? And there's quite a few in there, which makes sense, right? Because if I'm walking, stepping, I want to know if I'm stepping on a stick or if I'm stepping on a snake, right? Because that's how your nervous system reacts. It either jumps to threat or goes, I'm fine, right? The nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system really doesn't differentiate. It just goes, I'm either on or I'm off, right? So when you are able to really communicate and your feet can really communicate with your brain communicate with your feet, all of a sudden things start opening up a little bit more, right? Things start firing in the right direction. So every time I take a step, it goes, I'm supposed to fire in this sequence, right? And everything works better, okay? So the next one we're going to do is on the inside of the ankle joint. We're going to be on the side. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to open the inside for 5. And then the other side for 5. Good. Go ahead and test that out. What's up, Randy, man? How you doing? Who got a good result out of that? Good, good, good. Had a good head nods. Awesome.
Is a good result the range or is it balance?
The range.
Because I'm getting a good result on balance, but not necessarily the range.
Well, that is a good result, right? So anything that's
For me, it's a good
Yeah, exactly. So when your feet can also communicate better, right? You get better balance as well, right? So like I said, you're going to notice how easy it was to get there, if you went further, right? And if there was less pain to get there. So those are the three things you're really looking for with your range. Like I said, some people, will get to the same place, right? But sometimes they'll be like, oh, how was that? Really good, right? And then you do a drill and they go, oh, that's better, right? So always, pay attention to how you're feeling while you're getting there as well. So if you're noticing better balance, awesome, okay? So next we're gonna go up to the knees, okay? So the knees, we're gonna teach you the knee circle. Again, seems really, really easy, but super, specific movement is what we're trying to get out of it, right? So we're trying to get them to break at the same time, to rotate at the same time, and to lock at the same time, okay? So it's gonna look like this. So I'm gonna break them to one side, I'm gonna stay nice and tall, relax the body, and then lock them. We're gonna do about 5. One way, try to keep the spacing the same. Good. And then the other way. 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Go ahead and test that out. Whoa, that was really good for you. Good. So now what's cool about this stuff, right, is that those are called performance drills, ones that make you go almost all the way around like Linda Breyer, right? So if I'm having you do a workout or an exercise, right, in between chest presses, I might have you do that drill real quick, then go back to the chest presses, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, that's a lot easier. Right? I do the same thing for my workout routines. If I'm doing like a bench routine or a squat routine or a dead routine, I'll sit there and between my routines do things that I know are high payoffs for me. Then I go right back to the bar. I'm like, wow, everything feels like it's firing really solid. I have a good solid foundation. So that's in a sense what I try to do for everybody is to build a good solid foundation I can then build on, because I can't build a house on quicksand. Right? Which is essentially what happens when we start learning how to move in these different ranges of motion, right? So when we're kids, we move in these directions all the time, right? We think about this, you see them, fidgeting, going like this, right? But as we get older, we get locked down, right? And all of a sudden things aren't moving quite as well, right? And then threat starts to go up. The next thing you know, you get older, your balance goes down, your threat response starts to kick in, you start going like this, next thing you know, you're in a walker, then you're in a wheelchair, then not very after that, right? It's a done deal, right? So keeping open, keeping moving, keeping these movements open to your own nervous system is the key to helping you guys perform better, feel better, move better, okay? All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna come up to the hips. So this one's a kind of like Saturday Night Fever one you guys can do, right? So what we're gonna do is we're really gonna tilt that pelvis forward and backward, so it's almost like I got a belt buckle on, and I'm reflecting light up and down, right? So what I'm doing is I'm tilting my pelvis in and then bringing it back out. And I do about 5 right here. No eye contact with this one. And go ahead and test that out. Good result, good result, perfect, okay? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do side to side. So this one's a little bit harder. Anybody watch Conan O'Brien?
Yeah.
You remember the string dance he does? Yeah, that's kind of exactly what we're doing, okay? It's like you got strings on here, and what you do is you just kind of pull one side up, and then you pull the other side up, and you kind of tilt this back and forth, right? Yep.
I know that's
Yeah, feet stay on the floor. A good way to memorize it is just kind of bend one knee and then straighten the other knee. That'll help a little bit. And then sometimes I'll have them go over to like a place to step off, and then they'll hike their hip up that way. But these are just the hip hikes. Good. Then give that a test. See how you do. Good. How are we doing on time, Scott? You good? Okay. All right. So the next one we're going to do is we're going to go to the lumbar spine, okay? So the lumbar spine doesn't get a whole lot of movement, and it shouldn't, right? But the movement it does have, we want to keep, right? We don't want to get too locked up, but we don't want it too loose either, right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a lumbar flexion. So what I do is I put one hand on my lower sternum, and I put one finger just below my belly button here. And then what I do is I try to bring this top finger, keeping my pelvis stable, bringing it toward my bottom finger. And you'll feel a stretch in that low back, and then you're going to come straight back up, nice and tall. You're going to do about 5 repetitions there. Really opening and closing. So when I come up, I really come up, act like I'm being pulled by a string by the top of my head, and really bring my chest through. A nice proud chest, peacock, right?
Now, are you sort of tilting your pelvis?
I'm keeping my pelvis completely square,
Okay.
and then I tilt, and up, and then down that way. Okay, go ahead and test that out, see how you guys do with that. How'd everybody do with that? Good, awesome. So the next one we're going to do is the lumbar also goes laterally, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to have our hands to our side, hips, feet underneath our hips, and we're just going to slide down, try to reach our knee on one side as far as we can, and then on the other side. So remember, with any of these drills, don't go into pain, right? Because then that creates a pain loop. The more you go into pain, the better you're going to be at being in pain. I should be a philosophizer,
Writing books.
right? The more you're out of pain, the better you're going to feel. Quotes by Chris. I can see them going global already. All right, go ahead and test that out. Everybody do with that one? Good, awesome. So the next one we're going to do is one that my clients love. It's called the lumbar circle. Most of them love it because it feels really good. So what you're going to do is we're going to kind of combine the forward flexion and the lateral flexion into a complete circle, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to watch me do it first and then have you guys do it, because at the end there's a stacking sequence where you want to line the vertebrae, because if you line it the wrong way, you're going to have a bad rest of the day, and I don't want that, all right? So what you're going to do is you're going to come to one side, you're going to come down, and I'm here, I kind of flex my back, and I come around, and any part I feel that's pretty stiff, I'll just kind of breathe and shake my shoulders. And then when I get toward the end range, I stack my outside shoulder up and come up, so that way my vertebrae comes up in a line versus twisted. Make sense? Okay, and then we're going to go to the other side. So come on, do it with me. Down, flex the back. Stack, come on up. Good, and then the other way. Curve. Stack, come on up. Good. Up other way.
Like, which arm?
Yeah, other arm. All right, go ahead and test that out. See how that does for you? How many people like that? It's pretty, not a good result for you? Okay, right on. So like I said, you know, some tests are going to give awesome, other ones are going to be limited, right, based on whatever your own personal needs are, okay? But yeah, a lot of them really like that. Like a lot of you guys are like, yeah, that felt really good, right? So it was funny, I was walking with a buddy of mine down the street, and I was talking to him all of a sudden, I was like, the heck, where'd he go? And I look back and he's doing this. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, it just feels so good. I'm like, yeah, I know it does. But yeah, it's pretty funny. All right, so the next one we're gonna go is we're gonna go to thoracic spine, okay? So the thoracic spine, go ahead and turn around. It's from about T1, which starts right about here, to about L5 right here, okay? So it's this big chunk right here. So what we're gonna try to do is mobilize in different areas. Now, I'm going to have you guys cue each other on where you guys want to bend, okay? Because there's 3 different places I want to get motion out of. I want to get motion out of the top area here, between the shoulder blades, and then kind of like this thoracolumbar area, okay? And how that looks like is I'll demonstrate first, and then I'll go around, cue some of you, teach you how to cue it, and then you guys will cue each other and see how your result comes, okay? So the first one is up the top. So what I do is I really focus at the top, like there's something I'm trying to touch with my upper spine, and then I come straight up through. What it's not is this. So a lot of people be like, I'm doing it, ain't I? And I'm like, no, your spine isn't moving, but your shoulder blades have great range of motion, right? So what we're trying to do is keep the shoulders out of the motion and really use that thoracic spine to come through and then down. So down, and then up, big proud chest again, right? And then in the middle, I come through right between the shoulder blades, and I get that range. And then last but not least is my thoracolumbar region, is where I push out there and then come through. Okay, so you two pair up. So where I want you to cue her, go ahead and face this, is I want you to touch right here
Okay.
and say, push your spine into my finger.
Okay, push your spine into my finger.
All right. And then have her straighten up nice and tall.
Okay.
And you want to feel that full closing happen.
Okay.
Okay? So you guys go ahead and pair up. You guys pair up, and then I'll pair with you. All right. Feeling good? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start right here, and you go ahead and push your spine right into here. So curve that upper back. Good, really open. And then close it all the way. And then stand tall. And bring the chest through, nice and tall chest, big. Okay, and then again, do about 5 here. Nice and tall. Good, again. Nice and tall. 4. Nice and tall. 1 more. Good. And then we're going to go right here. Now we're going to focus to push right between those shoulder blades. And then straight up. Yep, it's there. Very slow, but very shallow. But there you go. That's better. Then open. Good. Close. Good. Close. And one more time. And close. Good. And then one more we're going to hit right here in this thoracolumbar region. So this one you... Yeah, it's not a bend. So if you feel right there on me, is what I'm trying to do is push that out and then up. Good. Up. There you go. That's good. Yeah. Feel that open. 3. Good. 4. 5. Good. Excellent. Go ahead and test that out for yourself. See how that feels. How's that?
I'm more limited.
You're more limited with that one?
And the one before, but that one's even more limited.
That one's even more limited as we go up. Okay.
But I'm feeling this lockdown big time right now.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. And then for the feet, it was better.
It was good, yeah.
The feet was
Yeah.
good, but then coming up was
Ankles were
better.
good. Then as soon as we started doing lumbar stuff.
Oh, then it totally went like that. Yeah. So you're gonna have to.
Surprising.
Yeah. As soon as you kind of pick the scab a little bit, it's gonna lock down a little bit. But yeah, doing a lot of this outside stuff first, getting this to move better, and then slowly working our way more toward the center is gonna be probably more beneficial for you than just attacking where it's at.
Yeah.
Right?
So we're gonna do something to get me loose.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Can you show us the last one? Because we couldn't quite figure what you're.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess I'm gonna
So when we're trying to move the thoracic right here, we really want to move that upper back. So push your upper spine into my fingers.
go into your finger.
Yep. and then nice and tall.
Okay, yeah, we were doing it wrong.
Yeah, we were doing it wrong.
It happens. Like I said, a lot of
Is
these,
that the third
a lot of
project?
these, you know, seem so simple. And then you go to do it, and you're like, "What do you want me to do?
Yeah, it's like,
How do I do that?"
where am I supposed to feel this?
All right.
Yeah, okay, that makes a difference. And then that's the top.
Yep.
piece.
And then we're going to go right here between the shoulder blades. You're going to round, push, then tall.
So that part comes back to,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yep. So right here and then tall.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Okay, I get that. I see what you're doing.
So I'm just kind of going down the spine, right? And then last one's going to be right here.
Still push against it?
Yep.
Ah, this makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'll just stay in this booth.
Good. Awesome. Go ahead and test that out real quick. See how that feels. Was it good for you? Good.
Yeah, I
Good?
can get that.
Good? Okay. All right, so the next one we're going to do is a thoracic slide, okay? So this one we're going to act like we're buried in sand up to our hips. And this part isn't going to move. We're going to move from here, okay? So it's like I have that finger here and here again. I'm trying to move that top finger to one side and then to the other side. If you start to feel pain with it, don't go into the pain, go less. So you're really coming here. Another way to think of it is if you have a wall on each side and you're trying to slide and touch a button on the wall. So that way you don't duck it, right? You almost want to act like you're skewered right through here and really moving to this side. Good. Good. How was that? I can see, yeah, I can see a little bit less locked up on that side. Good. How we doing, Dawn?
That was a tricky one because I have some old injury there.
Yeah.
Compression
Oh,
fracture.
oh yeah.
So that one, my body's like, no, don't do it.
Yeah.
Unless, yeah.
So you're getting less on that one. Yep. So that's something to take in, to note. Note the really good payoffs you had today, and note the really bad payouts you had today as well. Okay. So the next one we're going to do is a shoulder scaption. This is the last one I'm going to teach you guys today. So Jay, come on over here. Go ahead and put your hands on my scapula back there, or my shoulder blades, if you will. Okay. So a little bit lower. Yep, right about there.
Muscle.
Yeah, there's a few. All right, so what I'm trying to do is get those to move around.
Okay, I got it. Nice.
So when I'm here, when I oftentimes teach people this, they go like this, right? But it's not this motion. I'm trying to move from my shoulders. So the motion is up, back and together, down, and then forward. You feel those kind of move around back there, Jay?
Yeah.
So that's how you want to get it done. I do this a lot of times for my bench presses, and it feels like I put about 20 pounds less on the bar when I pick it up.
Yeah.
And then the other way. And then you're going to go down, back, up, and together. Okay? So it's really getting that shoulder blade moving around. Yeah,
Don't even know what to do with
yeah,
this one.
you're doing this one, right?
Well, it's like, well, because I'm trying to think about just moving the thing.
Right, so keep your arms locked out straight. Good. And what I do is I really point my thumbs down to make sure this stays straight, and I move from here. There you go.
Okay.
A lot of crunching and grinding in there. Sounds like you're cooking some kettle corn in there.
I'm going for my
Price you pay for rubbing on bodies.
right.
Right, no doubt.
Yeah, it's tearing through this front. All right, I'm doing it. We're doing
Good, test that out. Good, so bring your arms in a little bit, right about there. Good. There you go. Good, very nice motion. Go ahead and test that, see how it did for you. Better?
It's almost less.
Almost less?
I
Yeah.
think it's just because it didn't like all that crunching and stuff.
Uh-huh.
I need to work on those.
Good, then the other way?
That's hard. Isolate.
It's very hard, yeah, at first. Good. I'm going to check out Christine over here. How'd you do with them? Good. Was it a good result?
Yeah.
Good. Awesome.
You are gonna like have a piece of paper with it. Because
Yeah.
just in my memory, it doesn't work.
Yeah, right.
Well, if he puts that, you're gonna put that on.
Yeah, yeah. I plan on putting that up as well. Yep, and then you can tell.
We can see ourselves and be there.
Yeah.
No.
Cool. All right. Everybody feel a little bit better?
Yeah.
Good. Everybody enjoy it? Yes. Right on. So, at this point, this is the end of Feel Better, Move Better, Perform Better. Hope you guys got something out of it. Hope you guys got some good payoff drills that you guys can do on your own. And as well as I always have one free, session if you guys ever want to sign up with me with that, you can set that up at the front with me. All right? It was very nice meeting you all today. Thank you for coming in, and we'll see you around the office. Thank you so much.